up guys, Tava here, and today I'm going to be looking at the insane Lumix G7 cinema rig, how I built it, and all the different components you'll need to make one just like this. So first up, you're just going to start with the regular Lumix G7. This is just the body of this tiny little camera. And the first thing we're going to add to it is this lens here, and this is the Nikon 50mm. Now this isn't the perfect lens you can have for this setup here, but I don't have any others that really fit this build right now. I would like to get a set of the Micro Four Thirds Rokinon lenses, because those give a much more cinematic feel to the whole setup, but this will work for now. So we're just going to set this aside. Now the next component for this build is going to be the small rig Lumix G7 cage. So this cage here is just going to fit right around the camera and give it a tighter feel as well as a bit of a wider stance, so it removes vibration and gives you a lot of points where you can connect things to on the outside, like monitors and hand mounts and things like that. So we can just take this here, place it around, and you can start on the bottom by attaching this screw mount here. Find where it screws in, take a coin and tighten that down, and then on the top section you're going to slide this little thing that goes into the hot shoe, slide that into the top, and when you get that down, then you're going to take an Allen wrench, and you really want to make sure all these points are really tight because this is going to be the basis to your whole rig. So if you have anything moving around in here, it could mess up the entire thing. So this is what the Lumix G7 lens and rig will look like. As you can see, it gives a bit bulkier look to the Lumix G7 itself, adds some more space around it, and just gives you more places to hold onto as well as mount on the bottom, sides, and top. This rig is also the only item in this setup that can only be used on the Lumix G7 since it's specifically manufactured to fit around the body. So as you can see, you can open up the battery pouch and get out the battery as well as the memory card using this rig. So that's really nice. It allows you to get to all the different things you need to, but the only unfortunate thing is you can't upgrade this to a different camera if you want to, unlike everything else in this rig. So I'm just gonna set that aside for now, and the next thing I'm gonna get are the rails. So as you can see, these are the rails that will fit underneath the camera, and therefore you can attach more things onto the front of them. So the first thing I'm gonna do is remove the plate from the top, take that out, and I'm gonna grab the camera and place this mount into one of the many 1/4" screw holes on the bottom of the camera. So we'll just tighten that down, we'll just place that there, and now we'll grab our coin again and proceed to tighten this down really tightly so that doesn't move at all. So now that we have this, we can basically bring this in and place it inside of our rails. So once we have that down, you can see it's the Lumix G7 with the rails attached to the bottom of it, and we can move all these little components around as well as the rails in and out, so we can place different things on the front. So now that's what we're going to be doing. So the next thing up is the focus puller, and so this, as you can see, has a rail hole in the bottom so you can slide it really easily into the rails. But before that, we need to put a mount around the lens so we can actually use the focus puller to be able to pull focus on this. This here is the little ring that's going to go around the lens, and you only need this for this lens because it's a photography lens and doesn't have the proper grids that you can use for the focus pull. If I had the other lenses like the Rokinons, it would work very easily without this, but we do need this for this setup. So what you're gonna do is just slide it around the lens where the focus pull is, slide it through, tighten it down real good, and then you're just gonna lock it in. So now as you can see, you have a point where the focus can pull from. So now once that's in, we need the focus pull itself. So we're just gonna grab this here and bring it in. So what we can do is just slide it onto the rails here. So just bring that down, and we will just line it up with the focus itself, push it down, and then tighten it on the bottom. So now as you can see, we have a focus pull that moves the lens and can pull focus from the side here so you can get more accurate pulls. But last but not least, I will be adding a matte box to the front of my Lumix G7 rig. This really isn't necessary and you don't need it for this rig because, as you can see, it's way too big and a bit overkill. So I got this without really realizing how big it was. But the good thing with a matte box is that once you get it, you can pretty much adapt it to any other system. So if you get a new camera, new lenses, whatever, you can use it for all of those different ones because the rails are always going to be the same size on the bottom. So it's just really flexible. You can buy things ahead of time if you're looking to upgrade in the future. But the nice thing is it can help control light with this system. So what you can do with the matte box is just adjust it accordingly. So once you have the matte box on, you can basically just slide it into where it goes right up to the lens so it removes any light that might come in, and you can just tighten it up on the bottom parts here. And a matte box is nice because it allows you to reduce light that comes in through the sides or the top So it's basically like a really big lens hood. So this right here is the completed look for my Lumix G7 rig. As you can see, it just got a lot bigger and a lot more professional looking than it did before with just the body itself. This rig is not necessary. You can make great films with just the camera itself, but it does help to get your hands off of the camera and get things more steady and smoother throughout the process for filmmaking. And from here you can add other things like adding a tripod mount to the bottom, mounting it on top of a tripod so you can get really nice smooth shots with this setup here. Something that I don't have on this rig that I wish I did was having a handle either on the top or the side, and then mounting a monitor up at the top so you have a bigger screen than just this little one right here. But I don't have that for this setup, so this is it. This is the Lumix G7 cinema rig that I came up with. All of the different parts I used to build this I will of course leave in the description down below so you can buy them if you want. The piece of equipment that I would recommend the most though is the cage that goes around the camera, because I do use this the most without the other accessories, and it helps to get a lot smoother footage that looks more cinematic. So anyway, that's it for today. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.